Skul the Hero Slayer is an action roguelite indie game where you are playing as a underdog skeleton who uses other skulls to transform itself to gain abilities to face the quote-unquote good guys who imprisoned your demon king, where you will be the one to bring him back single-handedly. So the build-up of the game is simple. You play as Skul, the youngest skeleton from the Demon King Castle Guard, quote-unquote the bad guys, and here you have to venture forth to rescue your Demon King from the Imperial army and face the first hero who guards the king. He is very strong, by the way. He one-shots you every time you reach the end of the early access. Just saying. The game is currently in early access with 3 levels and 3 main bosses, where I won't be spoiling the second and third boss in this video because they're pretty cool, so that would be unfair to spoil it for you. But for the first main boss and levels, I will spoil them, so don't watch this video if you haven't seen them, or keep watching if you don't care. So the game starts off with a little tutorial run to introduce you to the game setup, and if that is over, you are killed and you will be sent back to the castle of the Demon King. This will be the starting point of the game, so by dropping down from the castle, you will start your run. The first level you are going to face is the Harmony Forest, and every level in the game has 2 sections with 10 maps in them. The maps are in random order, so you will have a chance to get mob maps, a store map, skull maps, a mini boss map, treasure maps, and challenge maps. But not to be total unfair, the game will give you only mob maps at the start of the level section, so it doesn't start you off with a boss or a store. The mob maps contain regular mob enemies, where in the first level it focuses on that you will need to pace yourself well to dodge the enemy's attacks and then stun lock them with your hits and repeat this. You will get the hang of it fast, so you will be going through mob maps with no problem in the first level. Also in mob maps there are going to be altars that give the enemies buff for boost in attack, immune for stun lock, health regen, or attack speed. You want to focus on destroying these ASAP. Not only for that, enemies won't get the buff anymore, but you will gain that altar buff for your own for a few seconds, what makes clearing mob maps easier. Also, the mob maps aren't randomly generated, they have a fixed created layout, but there are a lot of them made, so it switches between those made layouts, so you won't be playing the exact same map layout over and over again, but eventually you played all the map layouts, so then it can be a little boring to complete them again. I think randomly generated maps were a better idea to have a more new view for each layout, so it has more variation. Now, when you get into a skull map, the real fun begins. You will find another skull head to gain other abilities than the other skull, so it basically transforms you into another skin, and now you will have abilities linked to that skin. What is pretty cool, and this is what makes the game very fun to play. With a lot of variations of skulls and abilities what comes with the game, it is a good way not to get bored. You can hold up to 2 skulls. Each skull has a rarity to it, which are common, rare, unique, and legendary. For the lower set of skulls, you will mostly get 1 ability to activate, and for every skull, 1 fixed ability when you are transforming into that skull. These lower set skulls have more abilities from the 1 ability you can use, so it is randomly which ability you can get. For example, here the skull for the genie, he has a big ram ability now, and another time he has multiple dashing attacks. So it is random which ability you will be getting, and this is also a case for some more rarer skulls, where they will have more abilities, but you will only get 2 abilities to use from that skull. Skulls come from 3 category types, which are speed skulls. These are focused on quick movement and attacks. Power skulls, these are focused on high damage output, but are slower. And balance skulls, what focuses on both speed and power at a standard level. For the mastery of the combat in the game is switching out between the 2 skulls you hold and make attack combos with the abilities when you switch skulls, and then use the abilities from that skull while you are pacing yourself through the enemies to dodge the attacks and get some basic attacks in of your own and repeat. Now eventually, when going through the level section, you will enter a store map. Here you can buy health from the Ogre Cook, what also gives a little buff for a limited number of maps you go to next. An item store, these items will give you passive bonuses, and you can hold up to 6 of them. These items will also drop in treasure chest and as a reward for mini bosses and main bosses. There is also a chance to get a guy spawning to swap your skull and cannot be reverted. And as final, a quintessence artisan to buy a quintessence. These are abilities separated from your skulls, what can make your combos more effective. Going further in the level section, you will face a mini boss map. In the first level in the game, you will only face 1 adventurer to fight. There are 5 in total right now, so it is random which you are going to get. They might be scary at first, but if you get the hang of their attack pattern, this will make you steamroll through them And also a little tip, when they are charging up with blue around them, attack them to stun them. That is a good way to beat them. So now that you faced the first section in the level, you will face a second one, what is basically the same with 10 random maps again. So after that, you fight a main boss. In the first level, it is a big end tree you have to beat. So how main bosses work is you want to know their attack pattern and pace yourself to dodge them. And between those attacks, you can deal some damage with your combos. The first boss isn't really that hard, but at that point, when you are facing him the first time, you are probably figuring out how the game works, so you will die anyway. So when you are going through the levels, you will find allies you can free, and if you free them, they will go to the demon castle, where you can get bonuses from them that help you out with your next run. The first option you get is to upgrade permanent traits that boost your stats and give passive bonus abilities. By the way, be sure to upgrade that dodge ability, will give you invincible frames because that makes the game a lot better. To upgrade these traits, you will need the dark quartz dropped from enemies through the game, but eventually they're going to change the current traits when the game is fully launched. So in the levels you will find two guys that will give you a head start, what gives you a skull and an item, and if you want another skull or item you will need to exchange 10 dark quartz, what is very cheap because you're going to get those dark quartz back in no time on your runs. So now when you have a good head start, it is time for you to face the good guys again. The game will get harder the further you go through each level. You need to keep focusing on improving your pacing to dodge enemy attacks and become familiar with the combos you can do with the skulls you have and good items to boost your overall effectiveness against enemies. For the second level, you will notice that enemies will spawn in bigger groups and have more range attacks to keep you moving, and in the mini boss maps you will need to fight two adventurers at the same time. In the third level, it is not only they will fling more annoying range attacks on you, now some enemies will explode when you defeat them, so be sure to keep moving constantly. And in the mini boss maps, you will now face 3 adventurers wailing on you at the same time. But all is not lost, finding legendary skulls will make things more fun and challenging with their more powerful abilities and combos you can make with them. The game will not keep you bored, well, at least until you are able to beat the early access version, current end, and have to wait for more content. If the game goes as scheduled, the full release will be around October. The game is also coming for Nintendo Switch and PS4, but for the Xbox One I couldn't find anything to confirm that, so I can't say for sure. If you are watching this video before the 13th of May, the game is on sale until that date, so if you want to try it out you can save some money. But guys, that was the video preview for Skul the Hero Slayer. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. If it did, be sure to leave a comment to share your thoughts and subscribe if you are interested in more related gaming topics like this one. And I guess you can leave a like if you liked it or a dislike if you didn't. But I thank you for watching and I see you all next time.